Bernstorff, who talked to us about Joshua and how God asked him to have courage as well. And so we have the high school chapel band that's going to talk to you a little bit about courage before we break up into our community groups, and you'll have some more time to talk about what it means to have courage, all right? So we'll give it over.
Yeah, I have mine. Okay. Wow. Do I need courage daily? It's a struggle being in high school, and obviously in middle school and elementary school, but and I'm not talking about the courage of being afraid of the dark, although I kind of am going down in the basement. It's a little scary, but the courage that really takes guts is the courage that only God can give you. And for me, this was the courage to join chapel band. Now, I'm deathly afraid of singing in public, especially when these guys have like angelic voices, and my voice compared sounds like the geese coming outside going. Anyway, yeah, but this, over and over again, I kept getting this voice inside my head saying, Cole, you gotta do this, Cole, you gotta audition. And this was a pivotal moment for me. It was a really important spot in my life where I started following that voice. And that's God. And so that's the courage I'm gonna talk about, that spiritual courage that it really is hard when you know that it's coming from God and you're really scared. And I mean, it's courage isn't not being afraid. I think courage is acting on that fear and what you do in that fear. So when you decide to act on what God is telling you, He will start blessing you. And that's what He did for me when I joined chapel band. Chapel band has been one of the best things about school for me, and I've made great friendships, and I've learned so much about myself. And what this can look like in your life is that voice inside your head is maybe when you go outside for recess and you see somebody that's playing alone by themselves and you get that kind of feeling, maybe I should go and play with them and maybe make a new friend. That's God. And I mean, if you're not hearing that voice, then that's kind of a sign that you should probably get closer to God. And how you can do that is by reading the Bible, but not just reading it, just to go over the lines. What really started to help me was reading each line to try to understand it. So your parents can help you with this. Another way is by prayer, and not just asking for God for things, but praising Him. And even when you stub your toe, you praise Him for that, because in those times, maybe you have to sit out of recess, and there's somebody else sitting there. And then you make a new friend, and that friend becomes a lifelong friend. And then another way you can do it is by being genuine and being real with community groups, with our groups that we have, and not just goofing off, but you can really talk with your fellow elementary peers. Is that, anyway. But yeah, I really challenge you guys to start pursuing and following that voice inside your head that's from God. What do you think?
I totally agree. All right, my name is Emmy Erickson, if you guys didn't know. This is Cole, this is Sarah. I don't know if we said that. But yeah, just going off of Cole, I heard that you guys talked about Caleb and Joshua, and it's one of actually my favorite stories in the Bible. It's in Numbers 13 and 14, if I can remember right. And my favorite part of this story is that Caleb and Joshua were 2 out of 12 men. So Moses was called by God to send 12 men from the 12 tribes to go up. I know you guys know this story, but I just love telling it. But so Caleb and Joshua were a part of those 12 men that were sent out to look in the promised land for resources and who was there and what was there. And so when they all got back, Caleb and Joshua were the only ones who had godly confidence and godly courage. And that's one of my favorite parts about the story, is because they were 2 out of 12 men. And that's not a lot of people out of those 12 men. And so it's my favorite. The lesson I bring out of this is that sometimes you have to stand out and you have to stand apart from the crowd. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of people who want to do the wrong thing, or there might be a lot of people who are scared to do something, but in life there's going to be times where you're going to have to be the one that stands out and just has the courage to do whatever it takes. And Cole gave some amazing examples about just things that are going to happen in life that you're going to have courage. And not a lot of people in this world want to have courage these days, and there's going to be a lot of fear in your heart, but like what Cole said, you got to just follow that voice in your head, and that's what Caleb and Joshua did, and that's one of my favorite stories.
That was really good, Emmy. So my name is Sarah. How are you guys doing today? Good? So another person that had courage, I heard you guys learned about, was David, right? Yeah. And so he was one little boy that had to fight a giant just by himself. Do you think you could do that by yourself? Maybe. So what David had to do was he had to pray to God and have faith that gave him courage to fight off the giant. So when you guys are going through a hard time or you don't know what to do, you can pray to God and have faith, and he will give you the strength to get through anything. Even if you think you can't do it by yourself, God will give you the strength. And so one verse I would like to share with you, my phone will open, is one about as you guys are young, maybe you have older brothers and sisters and they think, oh, you can't do anything because you're little. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. So at school, you can set an example for your friends by being nice to them, even if you're not having the best day, and you can do all this with courage that's given from God.